Hi everybody, I thought I would just show you some Blu-rays that I've recently added to my collection. Most of these, I'm pretty sure, if not all of them, are upgrades, but I'll get into that as I go on, okay? Alright, most of them are going to be horror films, but at the end I have a couple of non-horror films. This one here is The Mystery of the Wax Museum, starring Lionel Atwill and Fay Wray, that you might know from King Kong. This is really a very, very good restoration job here. I played the commentary and watched most of it last night. I will say there's a comparison here where you see the old copy, how it was existing and how it was really issued, the only way you really could get it. And the upgrade is really well worth it. If you like this movie, it's worth getting. I haven't decided yet whether I prefer Mystery of the Wax Museum or the later 1950s version with Vincent Price. I think I might like House of Wax, the redo, a little more. But anyway, it's still a classic. I have a whole bunch of films here from, let's see, Hammer. So we get a lot of Hammer horrors coming up here. First up, I got The Evil of Frankenstein, which I have not checked out yet. Of course, I've seen the movie many, many times, but I have not checked out this particular Blu-ray copy. And it comes in an outer box, and you know the actual cover of the Blu-ray is exactly the same. I enjoy that movie. Now, this is an upgrade, and I'll explain it to you. This is Horror of Dracula, as it was, of course, known in the UK. It was just called simply Dracula, the first Christopher Lee Dracula movie. The reason that I got this particular upgrade here is because I have a lot of these films on multi-region, what you might call British copies, but my multi-region player recently broke, and I don't know when I'll get another one, if ever. So I thought, you know what, it might be time to get some of these that I have only on the other region, and I can't remember what the region is now. Is it region, somebody could tell me, region 2, whatever the region is for, UK movies. And I have other ones too, German movies. It's good to have a multi-region player if you can get one, but mine broke, so the heck with that, right? Okay, now we have an upgrade again. Scars of Dracula, another Christopher Lee movie. This one from 1970, much later. This particular film is underrated in my view. I mean, I enjoy it, same way as I enjoy Evil of Frankenstein, which a lot of people don't like. What's really great about this is there's a commentary track on here from Christopher Lee, and also from the director, Roy Ward Baker, which is really fascinating. And it's an old interview from, I think, the year 2000, so it's 20 years old. But the interview was on, I forget the name of the other standard DVD. It might have been an Anchor Bay DVD. I'm not sure who put that out, but I actually have that already. It already looked nice quality in the regular DVD, but Blu-ray I often like to upgrade to. This is an upgrade also from the Warner Archive collection. Dracula AD 1972, trying to put Dracula in modern times. And maybe someday I'll do full-scale reviews on these because, yeah, I enjoy this film also, but Dracula himself doesn't really go out on the streets and intermingle with modern-day people, so he just kind of like hides out in a Gothic church through the whole movie, so what was the point of having him in modern eras? But there you go. It's an upgrade. I had the DVD, now I have the Blu-ray. Same thing with this one, which is a really significant upgrade. This is the last Christopher Lee film called the Satanic Rites of Dracula. And this particular movie is much, much improved quality-wise. As far as visuals, I mean. The actual film itself as a piece of cinema, so-so. But definitely you need this if you're going to get a copy, the Warner Archive edition, because this is better than all the ones I've seen up to this point that I've owned. Okay, here's a Universal 50s film, switching gears now, called Monster on the Campus. it's a fun 50s yarn. The guy turns into a monster. Now, I have this on one of those compilations. Universal put out a lot of compilations, but for those like me who want films to be in their proper aspect ratio, this was not presented in its proper aspect ratio before now, I don't believe. It was the square, 1.33. So this is the way it should be, wider 16 by 9 presentation. Okay, and there's an audio commentary on here as well and features. Okay, I managed to get a couple more of the Universal horror collections that are out there. These are becoming more and more plentiful, and they're a little pricey. But you got to remember, when they're pricey, you're getting 4 films on there at least. So first we'll go with Volume 4. The films here are Boris Karloff and Night Key, which is not a horror film, by the way, but it's still enjoyable little film. Night Monster, which has Bela Lugosi, but not in a big role. You have The Climax, which is Boris Karloff in one of his very rare color films, horror films, if you will, from the 1940s. This was like kind of the same year as House of Frankenstein from Universal. I always thought, what a shame that you waste color on a film like The Climax, which is really no big deal. It wouldn't have been so much nicer to get House of Frankenstein or something else in color. And then we have finally House of Horrors over here, which is pretty interesting and quickie, 60-minute or so horror film with Rondo Hatton playing the creeper. And there he is strangling a victim over there. Very interesting array of different titles here. And the one I really liked that I wanted for so long to see on Blu-ray, so any kind of upgrade, were these. This is Volume 5 of the Universal Horror Collection, and you've got The Monster and the Girl, which, believe it or not, I've never seen, even though it's been around for years. But the other 3 films are the Paula the Ape Woman series. Okay, you got Captive Wild Woman with Aquanetta, and then you've got the sequel, Jungle Woman, and then you've got finally my personal favorite of the trilogy, Jungle Captive, or The Jungle Captive. When you got Rondo Hatton there, I'd say out of all the Rondo Hatton movies that he did, he has the most screen time and dialogue probably of all his movies, maybe, in this particular film, Jungle Captive. This is the one I really wanted because you couldn't get Jungle Captive on DVD yet even. The other ones had been around. I think Monster and the Girl had never been on a DVD. But anyway, of the Ape Woman trilogy, you had Captive Wild Woman and Jungle Woman somehow available on discs, but not Jungle Captive yet. So that was something I was really going for, but really hopeful that they were going to put that out. Okay, now here's just 2 titles that are non-horror. And I got negative things to say about these, and I'll explain why, okay? The first one is I Want to Hold Your Hand, which is a movie I enjoy, by the way. This is a 1978 kind of fictional account of a group of young people that attempt to meet the Beatles in New York City when they were first on the Ed Sullivan Show, okay? So this is really an enjoyable film, but the reason I was disappointed, this is a Criterion release, and Criterion, of course, has a great reputation, but not everything they do is fantastic. I already had this on DVD, and with the DVD, I was very dissatisfied with the audio, only because there's like I don't know if it's a 5.1 mix or something, so that when you watch it on your TV, there are moments in here where you hear actual Beatles songs. And I know when I watched this movie on television, and I recorded it on VHS tape off TV, the audio was all together to the point where whenever people were doing dialogue and you had a Beatles song in the background, the Beatles song was just as discernible as the dialogue. You could hear it. But with the DVD, with the new audio track, whatever they did, 5.1 or whatnot, you actually could not hear the Beatles music throughout the whole thing. Now, I don't have a 5.1 setup, so I don't know if I had this big, luxurious 5.1 setup, this big home theater, maybe then you would, with all the different channels and speakers, you would hear the background music. But I didn't like it on the DVD because it was muted. A lot of it was muted, a lot quieter, the Beatles music. Now, Why am I comparing this with the Criterion? Because the Criterion carries over the same stinking audio track. Okay, I figured that, but I guess it's a visual upgrade, so at least it's visually better. But I would like to have a mono soundtrack. A lot of times I'm a fan of mono audio soundtracks when it comes to movies. Dialogue and music. All right, and finally, I was a little disappointed also with this Criterion release. Tootsie. Now, the movie Tootsie with Dustin Hoffman, I really enjoy. I think it's a classic comedy. I think it's one of the best 1980s films. Always an enjoyable movie to watch. The thing is, we put this on, my girlfriend and I. This is a favorite of ours. And I just thought, personally, to my eyes, I thought the visual quality was a little slightly darker. Everybody's different. But I had this on DVD, and the DVD looks more bright to me, and colorful. This thing seemed a little more muted, subdued in color or something. I don't know. Something about it, the look of what I was used to, having seen this in the theater in 1982, and then having it on DVD and watching it on DVD, and even seeing it on Turner Classic Movies a couple of times. I thought this was a step down visually. Just my opinion. All right, so let me know what you think of these movies, and thanks for watching. And hopefully, as I always say, it won't be too much longer till I make another movie-related video.